properties, device. Okay. All right, we got sound now. Okay, let me explain to you what I just went through for the past 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, 2.3 minutes. Okay, what I've done so far is I've got this this pretty much laid out. Now I'm just finishing up the last half ribs. I suppose that you can hear me now. Okay, sound is on. Very good. I don't know why YouTube does that stuff to me, but it does. Anyway, I line it up with the pen marks where the spar goes, and I just cut it out close. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to sand it to the foam. This just makes things go a little faster is all. You could, thank you for the like, you could you know, draw them on a pen with a pen, set them down on the table, and then cut them out, but just as easy to kind of hog it out there. So we got that. I don't think that's going to be big enough for another rib, no. So I have to get another piece of 16th. Huh. Good thing I left the box there. Okay, 16th. Oh shoot. Yeah. Digging around through my lumber today, I found a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be able to use on this airplane. Some super light wood that I had left that I had lost in this box. Of course, I don't have enough. I'm never going to have enough wood. Yeah, this is 11 grams, so this is good. So let me cut this straight here. So line it up like so, with that back line. Come on. That's good. Stick a couple pins in it. These are the last 2 that I have to make for this panel. Thank you for the like. Great, Steve. How you doing? And then I just take and whack it out of there. Like I say, you could lay this down on the table, draw it with a ballpoint pen, and then lay it out. But because I'm working in this little apartment, I have zero bench space. I have to kind of do things in my hand. I had to cut the plywood ribs with my handheld jigsaw today, and I've shown that a couple of times on camera, but I do not recommend using a handheld jigsaw to cut 16th inch plywood small pieces. So once you have both ribs attached to the rib here, just hold them together and sand over them till they come down to the foam. Now I think this is about the 5th wing that I built in this jig. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the 5th wing in this jig. And if you want the jig to last longer, the buck to last longer, yeah, good wood is very desirable, yeah. You want to take some polyacrylic or white glue, thin down white glue, and paint the the cradles and the bucks if you want it to last a long time. Of course, I'm not worried about it. I bet I got, I don't know, 5 or 6 geobolt lost foam jigs in St. Louis. I have 3 of these jigs here, so we're not worried about that. So anyway, we do a nice job. Get it sanded down right flush with the foam. It's not a big deal. I'm using 80 grit on a paint stick. Only takes a minute, and these ribs are perfect, just like you. Back in the day, I used to sit on the floor and take a stick pin through the Karsten's plans onto the wood and then cut them out. These are perfect. The way I used to do it, not so much. Okay, so that's 2 ribs cut, ready to go. And then I'll show you the method that I use for, I guess the main thing that I wanted to show on this video was shear webbing. So I just put my finger on there and I take my 3/16 stick and I sand down till it's flush up at the top here. Let me move this window here so I can see what I'm doing. Average watch time, 3 minutes. Why can't we see that? Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So now that notch is cut in there. I think that's what it is. I got it. There we go. That notch is cut in there and it's a perfect size. Yeah, this airplane here. This airplane here is going to be for a Super Tiger 60 or maybe a PA 75. I'm not sure, but yeah, as long as you keep the airplane light, Super Tiger 60 will pull a 700 square inch airplane. No problem. So there again, just sand on down to it. Now, one of the most important things is a stiffener stick. Shoot, I didn't mark these, so I gotta look and see here. Yep, this is the top, RH5. RH5. Try to mark them so you can keep them in orientation. RH5. RH4. So the stiffener stick, very important. This goes between the 2 spars, you know, the top and bottom spar. This is what stiffens this wing up. If not, you will break this wing in a hard turn. And you just set it in there, and then I'm going to take some CA. There we go. Like so. And then cut it out of there. And it's going to leave little nubs on it. Just take your sanding stick and sand the top of that stick till it's perfectly flat. Now it will fit perfect in that hole. But there's one last thing to do. So our H4 goes this way. And let's see, what did I do with it? There we go. Now I did these, I marked them off and made them right, but this is just a small rib, so it doesn't much matter. Take your 5/8 brass tube, put it on the center there, make a hole, make a hole, and then cut out the centerpiece. And you know, this is all personal preference. There it is. Better. So this is our H5. This one goes right here on this line. Now there's been a couple of times, like when I repaired the June RXL, where the guy poked his finger through my wing and I cut it out, and I had to go back to the jig, plot where it was, and make it make a new rib. And you can do that and it will fit absolutely perfect using this method. So if there's ever a repair, it's perfect. Make sure that your rib's at 90 degrees. I'm just eyeballing them. I know that's close enough. I've only built one, maybe two airplanes in my life. Okay, I'll do the other side now. So let's, instead of going through all the rigmarole, I'll just cut the, I'll cut this here first. That way I don't have to come back and monkey with it. It'll be just stick it in and go. Now, you would think that I could jump right to the leading edge sheeting, but there's still another step, and it's very important to do this step. Before you move on to the next phase, you got to at least get them cut. You don't install them, but you have to cut them. And that's the shear webbing. And that's how you, if a wing has a warp, with the shear webbing, you can straighten the warp out. This wing does not have a warp, but you never know when you put the leading edge sheeting on. Sorry there's no dancing girls or music or anything, but this is what we got. Okay, I want to keep that to the top, and I want to keep the sticks oriented in the right position, so this goes on this side. Remember, if you're using a full bottle of glue for your airplane, you're using too much glue. Just eyeball it. I'll guarantee if I put the square on, it'll be square. Oh, not there like that. I just bumped it out of square. Okay. Dribbled a little bit up on there. I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Now comes a part that I hate doing, but it's very important. I was looking around. I had some Q-tips here, and I can't find them. So I'm going to have to do it the way I used to do it. Alright, so now comes the time for the shear webbing. You want to get some, I'm using 3/16 spars, so you want to use 3/16 shear web out to one past the landing gear. I'm not going to put any shear webbing out here. It's just added weight. We're toting around weight we don't need. So in order to do this, you have to measure the distance between the two spars. I already had it calculated, or very close, and I cut the one piece for the landing gear ribs. So we'll finish cutting this. This is a kind of a hard piece of 3/16, even though it's light, it's got a hard spot in it. So we'll see how it goes. You want it so it fits snug, but you don't want to force it either. Okay, that's so now unpin the wing from the cradle. Yeah, we got a pin over here. You want this to fit snug as well, so you force it in there or whatever, push it in there, and then make a mark with your knife, and that's where you're going to cut it. I guess we could do that with a pen. Maybe. It looks like I'm going to have a hard time cutting it up in the air because this is harder wood. If you had some good soft wood, it wouldn't matter. Come on. Okay. What happened there? Get the wrong one? It's too small. Damn. Oh well, should be okay on this side. Cut it too small. This is a very important part. Super important. I can't explain to you how important it is. See if we can't make it right this time. We'll cut a little bigger and then sand it if we need to. This is basically what holds your wing together under load. You'll see, guys, they get wings folding up because they're not paying attention to these little details. There we go. That's a perfect one. Yep. Need to sand a little bit. Remember, you want to put these in here, but you don't want to glue them. Not yet. No bueno. Okay, we're going to get the height off of this stick and cut us a couple of these. I need to saw this, so I'll be over here on the bench for a second. This wood definitely has a hard spot in it. Okay, that's one side. I know this is the right height, so we'll make it a little bit higher so I can sand it. Okay. Come this week, this wing should be done. Okay, so now we got a blank to play with. So let's do the big one first, and we'll see what's left over. So we want to cut to there and fit. So that's a good piece, that's a good piece. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it needs a 16th off. Need to sand a little bit on the end here. And because these ribs are angled, you have to sand the ends of these. Yeah, Keith. Sand the ends of the angles of these ribs into this spar. So this one needs to go this way. So if you look at this piece, it's got angles in it. I'm gonna have to sand the height of it too. A couple of strokes anyway. A little bit more sanding. Now, I've mentioned, if you can't believe how important this step is. If you mess this up, your wing could fold up, along with the compression spar, which I found some basswood in my pile of crap. So we got the basswood. Little bit more. My, how time flies when you're having fun. 27 minutes and I ain't got nothing done. One more time. Damn. I don't want to go too far because I don't want it to fit in sloppy. If it fits in sloppy, more glue, first thing, and there's just enough cushion that if you get it started, you know, it starts to wear harden or whatever, and your wing will break. And we have very little wood here, so we want to make the use of everything. Okay. I'll show you the fit here. This is how it should fit. Absolutely perfect, because we're just going to wick CA along there, and that's it, when they're getting ready to be installed. So we have 3 more pieces to make. I didn't say this was fast, nor did I say it was fun. I hate it. Got to make sure that you have the grain running from spar to spar. You don't want to run the grain end to end. That offers 0 strength. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a weight on this wing too. I told you that it's going to weigh 5 ounces. And everybody says that's BS. Well, I built enough of these things to know what stuff weighs. I think this one's going to be a little lighter than 5 ounces. Okay, I got it cut right the first time, so that was a good thing. See, I cut this one here, and it went right in without any sanding perfectly. So that's a good thing. We have to do the fitting of the trailing edge sheeting as well. This all gets boxed in, so that's some time. You got 4 blind nuts, all right. If you'll notice, the way these ribs are, you can't rack it. You know, you can't rack this wing. And when I get the leading edge on there and the cap strips, it really locks it up. I mean, if you build a warp in it, you're kind of screwed. I got to cut another piece. So give me a second. I ran out of material, so I got to cut another one. Now, the center one goes end to end, not up and down, if that makes sense. And I'll explain why. I guess it could go up and down, but why? Why make things hard on yourself? So let's cut this in half. That way we have enough for the other side. Let's see if it fits. It does. I gotta get rid of this. I end up breaking something. That pen, where'd you go? Let's see, 33 minutes, still got nothing complete. Oh well. Okay, there's this piece. And I have to sand the height a little bit. Turn it over and see what happens. Yep, it is perfect. Okay. Alright, that piece went in perfect. So now we got one last piece to make. This is the piece we want. Cut a little big, so in case I gotta sand it. Alright. Now don't do like I did. I threw these out. The last airplane I did, I made them and threw them away before I was done. So I had to remake them. Okay, that one fits perfect. So now the most important thing is we're not gonna put one here because the bell crank goes in. We'll work on this part when I'm putting in the compression spar. A little bit overhang there. I could lose a little weight if I took the moto tool and ground that plywood off. I'll probably do that. Anyway, so you want to number these now. So this is the right wing, so it's R1. That keeps them oriented right. R1, R2, R3, R4, 5. 5 is not movable. It's glued in already, but we'll mark it nonetheless. That way, if I ever crash, somebody look, why did you mark that one? R6. Okay, so those will all get removed and put back in their place. Now our thing, and I don't have any Q-tips. Let's see. I want to weigh this up for you guys so you can see what the wing is going to weigh, and I'll give you an honest guess on what the rest of the parts are going to weigh. And what I do with the scale. So this is the sheeting. We're going to lose a little bit of that. Guys, got a guess on what this weighs? Just this this here. Where is the scale? Come on, guys. Man, this old timers is getting terrible. I just had the damn scale. It's gotta be right here. Not up on the shelf. Not on the couch. Not on the floor. 2 ounces. Nope, it ain't 2 ounces. Better not be. Yeah, it might be. Come on, scale, where are you? It ran away. There it is. There it is. Okay, I have to have something sitting on top of it so we can see under it and see the wing. So we'll start it there. It should read 0. Let's see how close you are, Steve. This weighs, well, a little heavier than you thought. It's 2 1/4, 2.35, 2.4. So the wing's going to be 5 ounces, a little less than 5 ounces. Okay, so we got a 5-ounce wing structure. So let's figure out what the weight's going to be total. 5 plus the bell crank and the spar is 6, plus the horn is 7. That includes the push rod, so that's 7. 8, 9, and wingtips, it'll be 10 ounces before covering. Yeah. It'll be 10 ounces before covering. Let's see, you got to add the tip weight box. 10 and a half. So this is in the realm of reality. This is, I mean, the guys that are building 16-ounce wings, they're way too heavy. Way too heavy. Of course, some of that wood's going to come off of there. So it'll drop down to the 2-ounce range when I take off excess wood there, the length of that. Of course, then stuff goes back on too, so I don't know, you just gotta I try to keep track of where I'm at all times. That way, you know, if you're coming out, if this wing right now was going to weigh 16 ounces, I'd stop and I'd sell it. It's not worth finishing for me. It might be plenty good for somebody else, but it wouldn't make me happy. Okay, so now I'm going to plane off the trailing edge because I don't have my Q-tips, and I always white glue the spar to the sheeting. So I can't do that tonight. I'll have to wait till tomorrow when I go to Walmart and get some groceries and Q-tips and things. Anyway, so let's do the trailing edges. Let's see, tape. I got the tape. Yeah, that's a good weight for a foam wing. Yeah, this wing will be 10 ounces. And if I can get some decent flap wood, that'll include the flaps. Now I need to find my block plane. Because we ain't making no 3-ounce Alraid flaps. Where is my plane? There it is. When he told me that his flaps were 3 ounces, I about had a heart attack. I like my flaps in the 1/2 ounce range. Yeah, I know. When the light wood is gone, they're all going to get heavy. But I was watching an RC channel today, and they were building airplanes with foam board. I don't know what the weight of them is, but it doesn't look like it would weigh too much. So put the piece of tape down to protect the wood that you don't want to dig into. And then block plane up to the tape. And you'll know when you hit the tape, it'll drag like a big dog. "46 minutes. So I've taken it down to the tape. Don't go any farther than the tape. I mean, you can always sand, but it would be very hard to, if you cut a big notch gouge in that thing. I mean, a lot of guys aren't worried about finish points, but when you go to the Nationals, you can ask Steve there. You kind of got to have every point you can get, so you got to make your airplane look as nice as you can. Yeah. This is the other trailing edge for here. You just take the long bar. It's 320. Of course, I got no room. I want to break this. I want to set this aside. That's going to take some more sanding, but it's close. It's real close. Now you know why Hunt gets 300 to build one of these wings. Now if you remember, yep, you gotta have 16 to 19, 16 minimum. If you remember, I said that most guys on the trailing edge run a 1-inch wide trailing edge sheet with a 1/4 inch trailing edge block. Well, that's 1.25 inches. This here I think is 15/16. Now, no, 1 inch even. So we left a 1/4 inch off of wood. 1/4 inch 4 times is one complete sheet. And I don't know how to give away all the secrets I know on building light airplanes. But you don't need all that wood. I use 3/32 sheeting so you can sand, because if you were using 1/16 here, you couldn't sand that. Not to have any strength left. Yeah, it's gonna take a little more. Right here's the curl area. Just cracked that rib. Fat fingered. Good thing for CA though. All fixed. Okay, that's I won't mess with any more of that on camera. There's some things I'm just gonna have to get aggressive with. Okay. One of the things that I'd like to put, you notice I didn't cut this sheeting the same length as the spars. In order to make it look super neat when it's all together, you want to put the wing together. You're going to have to cut this up and make a nice joint on this end here. On this end here. And a nice angle for this for where the tips come on. But in order to make it look really like you really knew what you were doing, you glue this all together with this sheeting hanging over the spar length, then come out to the tip and make a mark, stick a pin in it, come out to the end here, stick a pin in it, put a straight edge up there, cut it, peel it off, do the same on the other side. That way both leading edge sheetings match perfectly for when you put in your center sheeting. And it looks like one continuous piece. And the least amount of joints, mistakes that you can get away with, A, it's easier to finish, B, it looks more professional, and C, it looks like you knew what you were doing. So, you know, try to keep with that theory. Get this out of the way. I usually, for appearance points, anywhere between 17 and 19. I've never had a 20. A 20 would be pretty hard to get. I can build better than I can fly because I don't fly enough. I don't practice enough. Oh, damn. All these things around here. Okay, this particular buck's been drying for a day or so, or a couple of days. And you don't want to, after you glue this sheeting on, you don't want to ever sand over the top of this. Otherwise, you'll get the starved horse look. So you want to make sure that you sand these things on the buck. I'm not going to take that one out. We'll let it go for another day. There's no rush in it, but put it back on the buck, put it in the cradle, put it on the table, and sand it. 320. This one has not been sanded yet, that's why it's not ready to go on anyway. Let's see here, set it in the buck. Let me clear this off, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Plywood there. I got the sheeting for that. Gonna have that up, so gotta be able to see that. Don't want it to fall down. There we go. That goes in there. That there. Okay. We got problems. All these wires and stuff. Why is this acting like this? Okay, put it back in the buck. And don't use anything more than 320 on it. You certainly don't want to sand it with 80 grit. So we got 320 in this block. We could use the thin block. But this is the seam line right here. Now I already sanded it before I molded it. But you want to sand this sheeting with 320 real good while it's, oh, I felt a rock there. You don't want to dig a rock into it. You want to sand this real good while it's in the buck. And remember, there will be no more sanding once it's put on, so it's got to be sanded well. Now this removes all the the marks from the ace bandages. And any of the high spots that you missed when you were sanding it flat. Take a little weight off, but probably not enough to think about. So with just a few minutes extra work, your appearance points will go up by at least 1, maybe 2 points, just by making all the joints fit. A lot of the guys look for insta shine, or, you know, is it shiny or whatever, but that's not what I look for when I'm judging appearance. I'm looking for fit and finish. If the fit's good and the finish is mediocre, he's still going to score well. If the shine is good and the fit is bad, he won't score as well in my book. I got a perfect example of an airplane that had a super nice paint job, but boy, the fit and finish, you know, the fit on it was terrible, and that was Paul Winter. Finish was real nice, but the woodwork, you're not standing next to the airplane while you're sanding, you're not doing it right. Okay, so that skin's ready to go. We got 1 hour in. That's basically my limit for this project. 1 hour a night, as I've stated before. Average watch time is only 12 minutes, so you guys aren't following me all the way through anyway. So I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share the videos, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. I don't know. I think Charles or Rusty one is doing our hangouts tomorrow night. I appreciate you, Charles, for taking over for Rusty while he's on vacation or whatever. Or he's just burnt out on it, I don't know. If he's burnt out on it, you can do it for a while. Then if you get burnt out on it, I'm going to have to find somebody else to do it. But we'll get it done somehow. So good night all. We'll see you tomorrow night. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.